Thanks for coming on the podcast, man.
Thanks for having me.
Bro, what I want to talk to you about is what you do. And I want to sort of set the stage for that. Is your approach to training, your
Yep.
approach to coaching is different,
Yep.
but I wanted to start the podcast like this is that it works. So for me, training with yourself, I have been injury free since we started. I've been enjoying my training more than I ever have.
Perfect.
And I've said this to you before in a conversation is I think this is the first time since I was probably 18 years old that I've actually been injury free and enjoying training. And also as well, you've helped my dad, who is two hip operations,
Yep.
35 years of brick and block laying,
Mm.
trains like an Iron Man, drinks like a no, punishes his body and is mid 60s, but he's hiking, running, lifting weights. And anybody who knows my dad, he's fit as a fiddle.
Yeah.
And I think, mate, yeah, he is able to do that I completely contribute that to you and your approach to training.
No, thanks, mate. Appreciate it. And it's good to hear. It's music to my ears that you're enjoying your training again and you haven't had an injury reoccur, which is a massive win. Yeah, as for your old man, yeah, he just is the craziest person I know for training volume, frequency, you name it. He is just insane for a guy his age. Two hip replacements, hip
Completely.
replacements. Yeah,
Yep.
that's serious stuff. I'm glad he didn't have knee replacements because that's even worse. But just going to keep it to those two hips, I think, and keep working with him. I actually saw him just the other day.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, so he's come back and seen me since
Yeah,
he's
they
got
just got back
back.
from hiking.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
he said he got through it great. So it seems to be working, and I hadn't seen him in a fair while too. So whatever work we'd been doing, a couple of months ago, had held for that entire time that I hadn't seen him, which was great. Which is a testament to how much your body can change, even in a period of maybe I think maybe he was coming to see me once a week for 6 weeks or something like that, maybe. And that work that we did together actually held for a decent amount of time without having to come see me. So he'd improved his range, his flexibility. He'd improved those things enough in that time frame, which is relatively short, as you know. It
Hmm.
takes a while to build on this stuff, but it allowed him to do his treks and stuff pain free, which is a great result. Come back to yourself. What are you doing for your training at the moment?
Mate, just simply weights, a little bit of boxing. I run every now and then.
Yep.
No particular goal, but
Yep.
just enjoyment. I'm happy with how much I weigh. I don't want to. I'm not trying to gain more muscle. I'm not trying
Yep.
to get stronger. I'm just maintaining and enjoying as well.
Perfect. And there's nothing wrong with that. You can just maintain and enjoy other aspects of life. And that's the thing. Training is not everything in life. There's other things. So you want to make sure you're not living life in pain because
Yeah,
a lot
because
of
you
people.
do train.
Yeah.
And I think that's we were saying this before is that is the most common misconception and almost like in a way a sort of a lie that we've fed
Yeah.
is that it's almost like your injuries are a sign that you train hard and that you're doing a good job.
It's a medal that you wear around your neck.
Yeah, how ridiculous are it like yeah, I think that's the male ego a little bit.
Yes. Yes.
Mm,
I've seen that in women as well, where they're like, oh yeah, I train really hard and I've got these injuries, but males are definitely worse for it. There's this whole toughness thing, and I know it's a Australian cultural thing as well. But there is this thing, this emotional attachment to your injuries, and that's my badge of honor. That means that I train hard, and it's like, well,
mm.
I couldn't give a shit if you train hard.
Nah.
I
Well,
just want
no,
to
how
see
many
something happen.
times have you ever gone, oh, wow, like, congratulations.
Like
Yeah.
I spend most of my time pulling people back from what they're doing and just
Yeah.
telling them to settle down because they just trash their bodies without you know you can't go through life accepting pain like that notion in itself is just madness, and that's something that's happened in sport as well. Like you'll see when a team or something is going through a whole bunch of injuries, they'll be like, oh, we've got the injury curse, or we're just having
Mm.
this run of bad luck. Um,
Like it's not happening. It's like it's out of their control.
exactly. All that says to me is they don't have any fucking answers.
Yeah.
They just rather ignore it and put their head in the sand because they just don't know. They don't know how it happened, and they're not interested in knowing how to what they need to do to change, because change is harder, right? Change means you have to accept that the things you were doing, let's say, weren't that great, and that's a challenge against most people's ego. So there's a lot of accountability that needs to happen in order for you know anyone to change.
Mm.
And unfortunately, if we're talking about sport, that rarely happens. Like the coaching staff will rarely take accountability for injuries. You actually, I just don't even see it. Um,
Yeah.
so it's really unfortunate. But even more unfortunate is those athletes then have to live with those surgeries after sport is all finished. So you know, people have to have a
Mm.
life outside of sport and training. So it's real sad. It's sad what happens in sport, but even in general training, the shit that people go through day to day just to get through a day, popping pain pills and all kinds of shit just to make it through the day, like it's madness. And if you understand, there is a different way of doing things, and you're open enough to give it a go for long enough to come to conclusions that are more accurate, then you can actually change that. You can change that situation.
Mm.
But otherwise, if you keep doing the same thing, you keep getting the same result. It's as simple as that.
Yeah. As you're talking, I'm thinking about like an average consumer. There is a lot online as well. So you have a lot of like a lot of ads for personal trainers, a lot
Yeah,
of different approaches, and it's like why? How do you choose one? How do you believe? Who do you believe? Who to believe?
yeah,
And I think that's one of the reasons why I want to do this podcast with you is because I've thought if I can get my dad, who is the most stubborn prick in the world, to adopt your training approach and mate and achieve what he's done. But I think that if somebody's listening to this podcast, I'm hoping that they can get something from it. So what would why do you think your approach is different? I know why it's different, but I want to what's so the conventional way of training is you go to the gym, you bench press, you squat,
yeah,
you train hard, you very minimal stretching, you train 5 days a week. If you
yeah.
don't train hard, you're a pussy.
Yep, yep. No, that's
Um,
right.
and it's the same with fight camps.
Oh, they're
Yeah,
fucking horrendous.
yeah. So if you were to let's say someone's come here to listen to all of my thousands of podcast
One day,
listeners.
mate. One day.
So they've come here to listen to something. What's different about your approach?
I'd say the biggest thing, first thing you need to understand is that the fitness industry is commerce driven. It's driven by money. So whatever sells will be pushed into the marketplace. So it's saturated. We constantly have these new, wonderful, quote unquote, science proven things that are in front of us and they're flashy and all this sort of shit. It's very hard. It's not an easy task to discern what is something worth following and what is something just worth ignoring. Now, the more and more you learn about cause effect relationships, so if I do this, it equals this, the more and more you realize majority of what you see online is rubbish.
Mm,
It comes back to your education, and we were talking earlier about this, and it's a long term approach. It's a long term approach, but the first thing you need to have is a structure. So I'm a physical preparation coach. So I work in flexibility, strength, speed, and endurance, the four dominant physical qualities. Now, that structure in and of itself gives you so much power or clarity in the way that you plan your training. Because quite often people walk into a gym and they just go, I'm going to do this exercise, this exercise, this exercise, blah, 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 without really understanding what they're doing and how they're changing the body. They're just
mm,
doing it because they saw someone else do it, or this is the way it's always been done. Now, the way that I want to approach it is provide a structure like the one I just outlined, and then help you understand how your training fits within that structure. Because once you have that clarity, you can then plan. You can plan your training and understand and make decisions based on what you need and what you want as well. So I believe for the most part, we're really saturated with bullshit, but no one has any structure to the way they think. They don't know why they're doing what they're doing, and there's no thought involved, no thought process at all. And it's just go in, train hard, get a sweat up, trash your body, get out, and that makes you someone that trains hard and you're doing the right thing. But there's more to it. There's more to it. And unfortunately, the longer you keep doing that, the more and more injuries are going to stack up, and you're not going to understand how you got to where you got. And that's where it becomes confusing even more so, because if you don't understand cause effect relationships between this exercise and how it changes your body, you get yourself into trouble, but you don't know how you got yourself into trouble. You don't know how you got there. Mm-hmm. So part of injury prevention is it helps guide you and help you understand that cause effect relationship, so that if you do have a niggle or something like that, you've been empowered to fix it yourself, heal yourself. So my goal is not to create dependency and have someone come to me because they need to come and see me. I actually want to educate them so that they can look after themselves, and they don't, in the long term, they don't need me anymore, which is the opposite of the way the industry runs, which is a dependency model. It's like, you've got to come see me in order to get your training done. Well, that's bullshit. You've got to learn how to heal yourself and train yourself and make decisions for yourself, because that's the only way you keep yourself healthy. So I run a different model in that sense, and I focus a lot on injury prevention, but injury prevention is in fact performance enhancement. They're the same thing.
What would you define as injury prevention? What are some things that you do, that you implement to create an injury prevention sort of structured approach?
Okay, so I mentioned the physical qualities. So we've got flexibility, strength, speed, and endurance. Now, if we're talking about a general population person, they're generally only working, or they should be, only working in two of those. They might throw in some running or something, so they might bring endurance in, but usually it's just flexibility and strength.
Right. So like conventional gym, like I go to the gym, I bench on Monday, biceps Tuesday, Wednesday legs, etc.
Yeah, and then I help them understand that. So if we're only working in flexibility and strength, in the perfect world, there's 50% of your time spent in each physical quality in the perfect world. But we know that's not true.
So when you say 50%, you mean half the time spent stretching, absolutely, and half the time spent weight training.
It's a different concept, isn't it?
Yeah, that's different.
But when you use a structure, it helps you make sense of that. Now, we're not in a perfect world, and everyone has different time requirements and all that sort of stuff. And I help people manage that. And I ease them in. We talked about this earlier. I ease them into the process and give them a taste of how I believe things should be done. But I give them a taste. I don't like overload them with a radical change, because I believe that pushes people away.
Yeah.
But I ease them into the feeling. What does that feel like? And so it might just be a little bit of stretching, some rolling, and then get into your strength training, which is all planned out.
Right.
So I'll give them a taste, and then usually what happens if they stick with it long enough, they start feeling better and they want to do more. The natural progression of that, they want to do more. So okay, that's fantastic. Let's do some more stretching. Right. And we just gradually do more and more. The only thing I'm not pushing for more and more is of the strength training, because most of the fucking time I need them to stop doing as much, right, more stretching. So I'm getting their ratios in balance.
But do you think that in their mind, results come from more?
Absolutely. There's a global, I guess, acceptance or obsession with more is better. Mm-hmm. And it's rarely the case. More is rarely better. It can be, I'm not saying it can't be, but it's rarely better.
Do you think it's more recoverable volume?
So explain that to me.
So is it about, so when we're talking about more, we're talking about more days in the gym, more reps, more weight, pushing. And the more that I can do, the more I'm going to grow, the bigger I'm going to get, the stronger I'm going to get. But like you preach, and I've witnessed this as well, is that the more that you push, you're actually reversing it in a way.
Yeah.
But so would you say that it is more time spent in activities that you can actually recover from?
Yeah. So it's all about managing training load, because you mentioned a couple of areas like training frequency, the amount of times you actually train in the week.
How
Um,
much do you think an average gym goer or first gym goer?
First gym goer will generally overreact and go really hard in the early stages to burn themselves out.
Right.
The average, if we were to average it out, they're probably strength training. They're probably pushing it to 5 days a week, which is like I limit strength training to 4 exposures in the week, and
Right.
I don't strength train more than 2 days in a row.
And how much time spent during strength training would you actually do?
The strength training itself as part of the session, it might be. I like to max it out at 40, 45 minutes.
Yeah. Well, is the average gym, but you're also experienced in training and have been training for many, many, many years. But I would say the average gym goer from would be 5 days a week, 1 hour every single day,
Easily. And I think you can push that hour out to
maybe
80,
even
90
longer.
minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that like it gets to a point like once you understand training, and again, this comes back to education, you understand that people are just doing, like if we're talking strength training, they're just doing sets and reps for the sake of it. They're
100%.
searching for a pump or something like that. And then
Yeah. I do
that
that all the time.
yeah, that wears off. That wears
Yeah.
off after 20, 25 minutes or something like that. And they
Yeah.
go, fuck, I need to get more. I need to do more. Like if the pump goes away, it's probably a sign that the body's fucked. Like you probably need to go have a call it like if that's the end of the session because it's probably a sign your body's just starting to finish the session.
It's such a test of it's such like a stereotypical manhood thing though to
Keep your work
if you
capacity.
have a tired body, you're a it's like a yeah, like we said before, it's a medal.
Yeah,
But
depends.
also in saying that, is so many of the stereotypical, very tough Ironman style type guys that are preaching, that are talking about their stretching and flexibility. But
Yeah,
I think they don't talk about it a lot because it might not be a cool. It doesn't get
exactly
attention.
right. It's
That's when
not
I
sexy.
see. Yeah,
Yeah,
your content is practical and helpful, but it's not sexy. It's like if you see an ad for a rich quick scheme, you're
yeah.
like, oh, how do you do that? But if you saw an ad that's like, save your money for 10 years
Yeah.
and then and work really hard and it's like, ah, nah, I don't want to do that.
And that's a great point because one of the or usually the first conversation I have with someone, literally the first session I'd spend with someone, I'll give them a sense of timeframes that I work with, and the longer they've been doing poor training, the longer the
Mm,
time frame is to come out from it. And I like to think in like 2 to 3 years to clean up the body.
yeah, that's
But
crazy. What
here's the
about
thing,
the 8 weeks,
yeah,
F45?
yeah, 8 weeks
Get
to
in
fuck
shape
yourself
eight
up.
weeks. I got no, but Ty, I got a Bali trip
That's right.
actually in 6 weeks, and I want to look shredded.
That's right. Yeah, it's madness, and this has been going on for a long time. So there's a heavily ingrained thought process of instant gratification. I want the result yesterday.
Mm,
So it becomes even a tougher sell to get that across to people. But at the same time, I don't try and convince anyone. I just be transparent and honest in that. You've seen me how I talk in our sessions. It's like this is how it is. This is
yeah,
you either take it or leave it. It's your body. You can do what you want. But I'm telling you, there's going to be some challenges ahead if you don't change what you're doing, and that's just the reality.
but
And
you're normally getting the people who are already broken.
yeah, normally I am. Normally, like I was saying
You're
earlier,
fixing breaks. You're fixing everybody, everyone I've sent to you. It's like they don't go when I first recommend it. It's
yeah,
when something goes pop and they go,
exactly.
fuck.
Yeah, and then they got a long process to come out of that, and that's unfortunate. Because I prefer to prevent things in the first place.
Yeah.
It's a much better. I mean, the old saying is prevention is the cure, really. So you've got to, but unless you understand the outcomes of training and what happens when you do X, Y, and Z, you won't understand how to prevent anything. You'll just keep
Yeah.
going and doing the same shit over and over. Like someone hurts themselves, they go to a physiotherapist that might not understand injury prevention or might not want to understand it. Let's say it doesn't fit with their model. They'll just treat the symptom, the band-aid approach, send them on their way. Guess what? They're going to go fucking do the same thing again.
Yeah.
They'll
And
just
I
keep
think that
doing the
model
same
is
thing.
created for them to keep on coming back as well.
That's what I believe. I believe it's a dependency model. Now, I'm not going to, as a you know, in a blanket statement and say they're all like that, but
Everyone I've met have. I'll
yeah,
say it.
a
No,
lot
man.
of experiences.
I've been when I was 17. I had a real bad back from brick and block lane. I
Yeah,
went to everything. I went every single chiro, physio, freaking I don't know all the names,
Yeah, I
but
know there's so many.
there's so many, and I never really got any help. Like they'd crack my back and or something, and then I'd be on my way, and then I'd all of a sudden be in trouble again. Maybe one with some really good morals, but they have to run a business, and it is a business model dependent type of training.
Yeah.
Training, yeah.
There's also the challenge with them. They've
Oh,
all
going
learned,
against their own.
yeah, they've learned from the same textbooks, and they're also time based, not results based. So when you go in there and you get a crack done, they might only be 10-minute sessions. You know, when you come and see me, it's like some of our sessions have been 2 to 3 hours,
Dude, yeah.
and we go until we get the result that we want. That's the
Mm,
difference. So one's time based, one's results based. Like I'm not happy when someone comes and sees me and they haven't taken something away from the session. I don't like it when someone like if someone comes to me sore and we haven't made some sort of improvement or they haven't learned something from the session. So
mm,
ideally, when someone comes to see me, they've taken something away from even just one thing, take something away from the session that they can use to help themselves moving forward. Um, Whereas when you go to, and this is just my experiences, but when you go to a therapist of any kind, it's I'm going to heal you
yeah, yeah, that's
scenario.
what it feels like. That's where I think that's where yours is a hard sell as well because the person has to do the work. You'll give them that like you can release attention and
Yeah,
make minor like make some adjustments on the day, but the main approach with yourself it's more practical for the person coming to see you.
yeah, that's
And
the
then
goal. The goal is to give them takeaways so that they, and like I said before, it's just might be a couple of things just to help them learn by doing. People learn so much better by actually doing the thing. Like
yeah, I know.
having someone tell you to do things and hand you a piece of paper with some exercises on it. Like, what the fuck is that going to do? Like, they look at it and they're like, I don't even know what I'm doing and um, how do I do this exercise properly? And like, what's the safest way to do it? And blah 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 blah. Like, I mean, our time together, we'll meticulously go through exercises so that you know how to, you know, what position or shape of the body to be in whilst you execute the exercise and all the rest of it. Like, there's a lot of details involved, and you don't
Mm,
learn it overnight.
yeah.
It is really a hard sell, but if you want superior results, that's what you have to do. It's acceptance that the road, it's a long road, but it's far superior. Your results will be, and guess what? Once you have the skills, you've got them forever.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I haven't had an injury and I can't remember.
Yeah,
But I also feel it now before it happens. That
yeah,
when
that's
I
right.
can feel that this is that's something like tension. I've
Yeah,
never understood tension in muscles until I spoke to you and had sessions with yourself because I had such high tension in my shoulders and my chest,
yeah,
and that's because I'm stereotypical bro split in the gym,
yeah,
bench press, shoulder press, and I would do that all the time. Mate, I've maybe done bench press once since we've spoken, but because I also boxing is completely chest
horizontal pushing.
dominant.
Yeah, exactly.
And nobody teaches you this as you step into the gym. But I don't know where I would have gone from there, but my chest was and my shoulders were fucked.
Yeah,
But now they're fine. But I guess that is an educational thing that has happened, and I've learned that from you. And I don't have to come see you every week to relearn that educational bit. I just know that now in the gym.
yeah, and you could even go a step further. It's like it's holism. Holism is looking at the individual, looking at everything in their lifestyle that could be contributing to their condition, or in this case, it was maybe shoulder pain or something like that, and limiting their exposure to things that are contributing to the imbalance, or at least controlling them as much as we can. Like you can't stop someone from going to work and sitting at a seat for 40 hours a week in their job. We might try and limit the exposure to that through stand-up desks and all the rest of it. That's one strategy. So the same is true for understanding other factors like sport. What is the sport doing to me? What the saying is, what a sport gives, a sport takes. So we're talking about boxing. There's a horizontal pushing dominance. You're punching, 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 using a lot of chest. The shape requirement for the technical model of boxing is a rounded upper back. It's fucking horrendous for shoulder health and neck health, but
Mm.
that's a requirement, the technical requirement to be able to box well. So we have to wear that. We have to wear that requirement of the sport. But I want to incorporate strategies to try and reverse that imbalance that the sport's giving you so that you can keep playing the sport and getting better at the sport and enjoying it, but not fuck your body up in the meantime. So understanding that, horizontal pushing relative to horizontal pulling, something as simple as that, the lines of movement concept.
Yeah.
Um,
Let's talk about that because you're a smart bloke and you use some big words, and I don't know if
I don't know
anybody
about smart,
listening to
mate.
my podcast is that intelligent.
um,
But yeah, so what you're saying is in basic terms is that whenever you do something like bench press or
yep,
box where you're pushing, you
yep,
have to counteract that with this opposite. So of either a pulling motion or a pulling stretch.
absolutely. So in the ideal world, you're doing some sort of horizontal pulling.
And
Now,
that's 50-50 because
yeah,
that's evening stuff out so you don't get imbalances, right?
yes, yes, and the percentages will be relative to the individual's needs, like how much exposure to the sport are they having within a week, for example, and then what opportunities they have in their other forms of training, like strength training or control drills and things that you've been exposed to try and reverse that. So we have to manage their overall training load to try and reverse that time, the time they spent versus in tightening activities versus loosening, which is flexibility, and the time spent
Mm.
in the imbalance causing activities versus the opposing, which is that horizontal pushing versus horizontal pulling. Now, the
So,
line,
so doing that, so that would be stretching for the same amount of time that you train.
potentially, it could be.
Could be.
There could be a ratio of 1 to 1, but
Yep.
then some people need more. Some people
Oh,
need,
so or if you've spent more time, for example, if you're a boxer, you've never stretched your entire
yeah,
life and you've done box, because I've got mates who are now 30s professional boxers and
yep,
they like it's a struggle to get fights, but it is a struggle for them to fight. They've got physios,
absolutely,
chiros, all these things, but they're just injury after injury after injury after injury.
yeah, yeah, it's
But
madness.
I've never seen them stretch.
Yeah,
But they train like
6 days a
absolute
week.
beasts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. The fight game is and that like MMA and boxing, the fight game is very dogmatic and very stuck in tradition in a lot of ways. I could speak a lot on that, but it's
Yeah, also running as well. That's
yeah
another
that
subject within.
that's a big one. You're bringing a whole other sport, a non-specific adaptation into the sport. You know,
Can there be an argument? Can there be an argument for boxers, UFC fighters that running is kind of like a maybe it is if it has any benefits, the only benefit would be to more meditation, time with your thoughts.
yeah, I mean, if you were just like general population, and you're boxing recreationally or you're doing MMA recreationally, yeah, sure. Who
But
gives a
if you're a
shit?
professional,
If you're a pro, don't fucking do anything that's going to take you away from the adaptation to the sport.
yeah.
Like, like if you're
This is
wanting,
huge in the jiu-jitsu community at the moment. The
yeah,
very, very top guy, I don't know, the glasses, he's mauling everybody. He only does jiu-jitsu. He
yeah,
does not train weights, does not run, does not do anything else. He just, same with Gordon Ryan. He never trains weights, never, he just literally just jits
just
and
rolls, yeah.
rest.
Um, yeah, it's a credit to them for understanding endurance in that sense. I mean, I wouldn't go that far and say don't do strength training because I know it has a lot of value. Unfortunately, the way it's done, globally speaking, hurts people more than it helps people because it's not balanced. Um,
Yeah.
but and in jiu-jitsu they've got to stretch as well, they've got to do flexibility, otherwise you can't get like a leg lock or the triangle without having
Yeah.
decent range in the
Yeah,
hips.
we actually work with that. I could never get a head and arm triangle until
Exactly.
we released, and so I started stretching. I think it was, yeah, I think it was loosening up my hamstring or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't have the range, like even like if we talk MMA with like a roundhouse kick, you don't have the range,
Oh, you'd need heaps of range for something like that.
you're not going to get the
Massive.
height. So
Yeah.
it's there's a reality to face it. Martial arts have they like in kicking, you have to be able to get your leg pretty high in a kick, generally speaking,
Mm.
unless you just want to do leg kicks. But um, yeah, you have to. This is where it comes back to holism. If we're talking about sports that are, let's say, dogmatic and stuck in tradition, um, you've got to be able to view the entire training program in absence of emotional attachment,
Yeah.
which, okay, we got the first barrier right there because there's an emotional attachment to the
Yeah,
weight.
because training really hard as well, it kind of, in a way, it like almost releases a bit of that aggression that you hold for throughout the day, maybe. But that's so counterintuitive because you hold, as men, we got testosterone, we get upset, we get angry. You suppress a lot of that throughout the day, so you don't take it out on, say, the general public or your partner or, or one of your mates. And then you
Yep,
go to the gym, and then you take it out on yourself in a way.
absolutely.
But
Yeah.
but all you're doing is really hurting your body.
Yep.
Mm,
It's just another form of self-sabotage.
yeah.
And it's reflected in the way you treat your body. So people can do the same thing with food. They can just put shitty food in their body because they don't like themselves that much. So you can do the same thing with anything. Doesn't matter what it is. And training gets used in that way, unfortunately, a lot of the time. But thrashing your body and destroying your joints, you're going to be hurting real bad in the long term.
But
Uh,
you can still train hard. That's the other thing I think
yep,
with your approach. It's not saying you're not saying don't train. I think that's the
never.
thing. It's like telling someone they can't drink. Or you
Yeah,
can't have, your missus says can't have any you can't drink on with your mates on the week. You're like,
yeah,
it's the end of the world. It's not that you're saying don't train hard. It's training smarter so you can train for a longer period.
yeah. It's training hard some of the time. So the goal of training, if you look at any athlete that's dominated, like is classed as a goat of their sport, they have just simply played more of the sport than anyone else.
More
And
time spent.
exactly, they've had more time, more hours in the sport, and the
And
more
when
you
you're
play,
injured, you are not playing.
you're out, and oftentimes you got to restart. Like you got to relearn. You got to go through the basics again. You've got to get your joints and your muscles back to where they were, and then you got to reteach the body a lot of skill. So you've lost how much time?
And how many athletes do you know who retired just because they want to,
Oh,
and versus
exactly.
how many guys have retired because there were injuries?
That is now becoming really scarily is becoming accepted. That a medical retirement. That
Yeah,
is just
my body can't do it
crazy.
anymore.
That
That.
is crazy. That is just a
Mm,
pure reflection of um, those poor athletes just aren't getting answers. They are not getting
mm,
solutions at all.
oh,
Um,
yeah.
it's a
That'd be
sad,
tough. That'd be tough because that's their livelihood as well. And
exactly.
they've but then they've only had one coach, and that coach has
Yeah,
coached them their entire career,
yeah,
and
there's
that
emotional
coach,
attachment.
yeah, far out.
Yeah, yeah. There's lots of challenges in being a physical preparation coach and being vastly different in the approach, or almost opposite in most things, literally.
Mm,
Because I'm all about efficiency. I want to do the least amount of training for the most amount of result. As I learned through Ian King, the least amount of training for the most amount of result. That's
mm,
efficiency. Why the fuck
mm.
would I want to spend any longer doing a training session if it's I've reached my limit, my ceiling for how much better I can get before the next session. If I
Mm.
overstep that, I can't recover before the next session, and then my next session suffers, and then the next one, and the next one, and the next one. So it's a downhill battle for them. So you've got to really be mindful of where is this session going to leave me moving forward.
Yeah.
And only this is where it comes back to training hard some of the time. Some of the time you've got to really push hard, and that's going to create a deeper fatigue curve. You're going
When
to
would you do that?
longer. When would you do that? That'd be part of your plan, because when you sit down and you plan out whether it be an off season like a GPP and an SPP, or like a camp, like a fight camp, which is an SPP, you work out timeframes, and it's not all set in stone. When you sit down, we've done this before where we've sat down and we've worked out, okay, what we're going to do in the coming weeks and what our general goals are, and then how we're going to get there, and you work it all out in timeframes. And you every 3 weeks, for example, I'm just giving you an example, you might go really intensely in a certain area. I don't know what area, because we're going to take the individual into consideration.
Well, majority of the time, if you're starting out, you're going to be spending a lot of time. If someone's never worked with you and they have a handful of injuries, they're going to be spending a lot of time stretching, right?
Well, that, as a general comment, yeah, they'll be trying to reverse the imbalances they've created. Stretching's part of it's a big part of flexibility. They've got rolling techniques. They might get massages, all that sort of stuff as well. But for the most part, I talk about stretching so much because people don't do any of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
It's
it's the
no,
one thing. It's like it's the easiest road to getting improvement because you're not doing any of it. Like it's the
yeah. If you
easiest.
even change 1%. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So it's
Mm.
like that's why I end up talking about it so much, and then people will pigeonhole you into being a stretch coach. It's like, I'm
Yeah.
fucking not a stretch coach. It's just one of the things that I do because no one else fucking does it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's like if you're not doing anything of something, yeah, you're going to get some results when you finally start doing it.
Mm.
So and then there's the skill factor involved with flexibility training as well. So you've got to teach them how to stretch. It's not just as simple as just going into a stretch. As you know yourself,
100%.
you've got to like get a sense of feel for the body.
Yeah. It's not yoga.
It's not yoga. It's that there's
No.
more to understand than
I
that.
like yoga. I enjoy yoga, but it's yoga's like, all right, push, push, push all of your limbs as much as you can. Whereas
Yeah,
what I learned through yourself yeah, I don't know how to communicate, how to teach someone how to stretch, but
yeah,
I understand it more now than I did, and I know that I will improve on that. And what's weird is that since I've had a goal to actually improve my stretching,
yep,
is that I haven't had injuries.
exactly.
Yeah.
It's an interesting concept. The way you can't really put it into words. It's because, and it comes back to what I was saying earlier. You have to get in and have a go. You have to
Yeah,
actually get
100%.
in and probably fail. Like
Yeah.
I when
Some
I
days
first
I'm like, fuck this. And the process, I guess it's sort of starting a new habit that you haven't done before.
yep. Um, yeah, it's like any other skill, and that's the way I treat it. Is like when you learn how to play a sport for the first time, it was pretty difficult at first. You didn't get it straight away. You had to, persist. You had to have some sort of resilience. The reality is you're not going to be very good at stretching when you first start stretching. You're going to
Mm,
stretch too hard, too early. You're going to overstretch and probably make yourself tighter when you first start doing it. Everyone goes through this learning process. I was no different. When I first learned how to stretch properly, I fucked it up for about 6 months straight. I couldn't work out because I come from a rugby league background. I'm so aggressive in the way that I approach my training, like I was.
mm,
I'm much different now, but my sporting history determined my mentality. It shaped my mentality going from that sport, and the way that I viewed training was just so aggressive. Everything must be done like it's got to hurt, otherwise it's not doing anything.
yes.
So if you like a lot of sports create that aggressive nature, and you might need that aggression in the sport, but if you take it into all aspects of physical training, especially flexibility, you will not get the result. So there's a large skill component to stretching, just the same as anything else. And you have
Mm,
to get in and get dirty, get the work done, and fuck up a few times. And that's how you get better at something. It's no different than anything in life. So a lot of times people expect that they because they have that instant gratification mindset going in, they think I'm going to stretch once or twice and I'm going to feel better. It's like, well, no, you've still got to get the training effect the first couple of times. Have you ever had a big break from strength training and come back and done a strength training session? How sore you get?
mm.
It's the same thing. If you've never done something before and then all of a sudden you do some of it, the body is more fatigued.
It
So
rejects it.
you might feel really sore, tired in those muscles, and I would say to you, that's great. You've got a training effect.
Would you call stretching training?
Absolutely. There's that's the only way you should think about it. It is training, flexibility training. So if you understand that there is no difference
Where's
between
the flexibility area in the gym though? When I go to the
oh
gym, I
well,
can't.
that's a discussion in itself because if you look at space given to the different physical qualities, there's a big problem. There's a big imbalance. If you look at the total area in a gym given to strength training, there's a lot.
A
If
lot.
you look at the total area given to endurance training, yeah, there's a lot of treadmills, there's a lot of bikes. If you look at speed training, they've even got a little like a speed track these days.
Yeah, I've seen them.
That's a little bit less than the others, but it's still usually a lot. Where's the stretching area?
Yeah, it's always hard to find. Oh,
Very
it's
hard to
it's hard to
find.
find space to actually sit down and stretch.
And you have to go search and you have to go to your little corner
And it's
and you have to
weird.
try.
It's weird as well. Like I've had personal trainers approach me like, "What? Like, Did you just have surgery? Are you rehabbing something?"
There you
And
go.
I thought, isn't that crazy? I'm stretching before I train, and the personal trainers are thinking that I'm doing this only because I'm injured, but I'm doing this so I don't get injured.
Yeah. That's where the world
And they
is.
all have shoulder braces and knee things, and
Yeah,
I'm
they,
like,
they,
they're nursing all their injuries, right?
they wear their lifting
Yeah.
belts all the time.
Hmm.
They wear the lifting belts really tight all the time because their lower back's fucked.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
it's that there's so many examples of that in commercial gym situations, and yeah, you'll look. Everyone will think you're a bit of a weirdo to start with, but like, who really cares what anyone thinks
Yeah,
anyway?
who cares? Yeah.
It's the best. The best thing you can do is just go in there, stay tunnel vision, and get the work done. Like that's what a gym is for. Most of the time, people are using it for fucking socializing, but I'd
Mm.
prefer to get in and and do the work, get the work out of the way, then maybe have a chat afterwards. You know, like focus on what you're doing. Focus is a conversation in and of itself. It's like
Mm.
we talk about stretching. If you're not focused during stretching, you won't get the result, or it'll be a very poor one. If you're not focusing on how you're feeling during a stretch, you're probably going to overstretch or understretch because you're distracted.
Right.
So there's you've got to focus. And look, there's a double standard for that because when someone's doing a strength training exercise and someone was to walk over and mid bench press and hold a phone in front of their face when they're trying to bench press, they get pretty fucking pissed off, wouldn't they?
Yeah, 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 yeah,
But
yeah.
if you're mid stretch, deep into a stretch, you dedicated session, and you're like, trying for every extra bit of range, millimeter by millimeter, and you're really working hard, and then someone comes over and shows you the phone, it's no different. You're still
Mm.
trying to train.
Well, you're
So
doing your reps, right? This is just
exactly.
reps. Yeah.
So there's a double standard. And like if you go to if you imagine if you started having a conversation when your sporting coach is trying to tell you something, they
Yeah.
tell you to fucking get out.
Hmm.
Like that's the reality. So why do we treat a whole physical quality different than the others?
Mm. But
So
that is the mentality, though. That is
exactly,
definitely, yeah. It's stretching. Doesn't have its place. It's
that's
very
right.
foreign.
It's treated as an external thing that's not even training, and it's only done when you're injured.
Mm.
It's like, well, why don't you do some of it so you don't get injured in the first place? It's like we could just prevent the injuries in the first place because when you go to a physio, guess what they're going to tell you to do? Fucking stretch.
Do you think
So,
that's because there's money involved in injuries as well?
oh yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, we're going down the rabbit hole a
Yeah,
bit,
this
but
is a bit of a rabbit hole, but I thought about it like you think about surgery,
yeah,
you think about all the everywhere that Bennett benefits from you, and also as well, like even an 8 week shred, where someone drops 10 kilos, this is not good for your body. What it actually creates, and you know this as well, is that it actually creates you to gain more weight at the end of it
yeah,
because of the starvation that your body went through.
yeah,
So
the
you're
manipulation of calories.
creating
Yeah,
another client for the personal training gym that you did the 8 weeks for.
there you go. It's a cycle.
Mm.
It's a game, and that's how it's treated. It's treated as a game, but unfortunately, the game is that people's health. So it's quite a serious area to be fucking around with, um, and and I guess there's this negative stigma attached to personal trainers now, but probably rightly so, because a lot of
Oh
them,
yeah, 100%. When I go into conventional gyms now and I watch people get trained. It's like I seen a 80-year-old lady who doing overhead clean and jerks with a kettlebell,
oh yeah,
and then I was watching her workout and I was like, I don't understand. This is so terrible for. I wouldn't do that for my joints. She's like 70, 80 years old and he's yelling at her like, push it, push it. I'm like, fuck, is he gonna kill this old bird?
honestly it's insanity. Um, yeah, the inability to read the individual and what their needs are. Um, get to know the intricacies of their body, and you're not going to get everything right straight away, but you've got to be willing to find solutions. And that's another part of people think that dealing with injuries, you're going to have all the answers straight away. But some of these injuries could be 10 years old. You're going to have to unwind a bit of shit in the body and find out what works and what doesn't.
Yeah.
So there's a patience that's required to undo some of these long term chronic injuries, and believe me, a lot of them are chronic. They've been developing for a decade or more, 2 decades, some of them, sometimes more. So
When would you actually say like for somebody to actually go and get surgery for? so for an injury, hip, shoulder, knee, all the
Yeah.
injuries that happen. When should that actually happen for somebody?
It'd be case by case, and you would read the individual, and you would definitely exhaust every avenue. You definitely use specialists. You'd absolutely use specialists to help you, with the imaging and all the rest of it, and help you understand. Some of these injuries are horrendous.
But they can all. But would you rightly say that basically 90% of them could all be prevented?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of them don't. I believe if you worked at it long enough, you could unwind it. It's whether or not
Mm.
the person is resilient enough in their drive to find solutions. Because I will go for as long as the person's resilient. I'll just keep,
Yeah.
okay, let's go to the next thing. Let's go to the next thing. Let's find out. Okay, we'll just tweak that a little bit. We'll change that. Like, I'll just keep going. And if they're happy to keep moving forward with trying to find an answer, I'll just keep doing it. Um, but if it was bad enough that that nothing worked and they'd exhausted every single avenue, then yeah, there's absolutely a time for surgery. Like, if something's like detached, like there's a time to get surgery. Surgery can really help. But I want to avoid it where I
Mm,
can, because surgery is another monster. It's another beast, because you got to come back from a surgeon cutting through your flesh and cutting through nerves,
mm,
and dealing with the trauma of just coming back from that, and then getting the function back in the tissue, and the balance back around the joints from a strength perspective, the range, everything. It's you don't want to go through it if you don't have to. So
mm.
I'll try and exhaust every avenue so that we don't go there. But sometimes you have to. Sometimes it's a reality. Um, but I want to at least have the person educated if they are going to go down that path. Have the person educated enough to understand the reality of surgery, and just how much of a slog it is post surgery to come back out of it, and how long you're going to have to work for a long time. And surgery changes the joint forever. So you're going to have to keep rehabbing that.
Right. That's kind of like my dad with his two hip operations. Is it
Absolutely.
he's constant rehab?
Yep. So even with myself, like 15 years ago, yeah, 15 years ago, I had ACL reconstruction. I rehab that thing every day.
Mm.
Like that's my reality. Um, I'm planning on making a comeback to rugby league next year. I'm trying to sort my body out so that I could play rugby league next year as a 35-year-old.
Yeah.
I haven't played a full season of rugby league since 2011.
Mm. How many athletes do we know that are over 35 and competing?
Well, there
I don't know any.
wouldn't be many. Most of them are long gone.
Long gone.
Um, and they normally,
That's kind of the end. Like when's a peak for an athlete?
well, their peak in terms of their hormones and their ability to recover, usually happens late 20s to 30.
Right.
That's their absolute peak in the physical body. Might be slightly different, but you can manipulate the training to prolong that athlete's career for a long time after that peak. They can
Mm.
stay at that peak in terms of what they bring to the sport. It's just the physical body that you have to deal with.
Yeah, yeah. The
Um,
mind always wants to keep going. All
exactly.
like I don't know any, or maybe some guys, but I don't know any guy who wants to not be doing something physically
Yeah. Yeah, and
and
that's
just
great.
be sitting around.
And that's great. That's a great attribute to have, is to want to be doing things physically. It's great for the body. And then there's just an understanding that there's an upside and a downside for everything. And
Mm,
if you understand both of those, you can balance out the training so you don't hurt yourself, and you can keep doing it forever. You want to be able to train forever. You don't want to have to stop.
yeah.
That's how you keep the body. If you look at some of the longest living human beings on the planet, like, I'm talking over 100, they do stuff every day. They get out and move and walk, and they're always doing stuff. There's a common thread there. There's the body has to move. Movement is life. So, but you've got to be able to keep the body healthy enough to be able to do it. The moment you stop, and you've probably seen this yourself, the moment people stop is the moment they start dying.
Yeah. That's why desk jobs are so killer.
Yeah, and honestly just takes the life energy out of you. It's crazy.
Mm,
So you want to be able to move in your life for as long as you possibly can. You want to keep training, keep training, keep training. But there is a reality to understanding the aging process. So, athletes might peak at 30, but you might have to manipulate the training so that they can keep peaking for their sport and reducing the overall training load so that they can keep turning up and finding the edge. Yeah, you certainly can't, even myself, even if I came back to rugby league at 30, I'd be training differently now at 34, 35 to 30.
Yeah.
That's the reduction in hormones. Your recovery ability is not as good. And I've learned a lot even in the last couple of months with this comeback process. It's like, oh Jesus, I'm not fucking 21 anymore.
You don't bounce back.
No,
I think that's something that fucks us up a bit, is because when you're 21, you're like a freaking rubber ball. You fall, you don't break. You bounce straight back. But I guess those injuries are being created in those stages.
Sure are.
But yeah, you're invincible, and then all of a sudden you're not. All of a sudden you're 30 and you got to stretch before you train to not be hurt.
And ideally, everyone's thoughts would be shaped in childhood surrounding looking after their body. Ideally, a childhood coach would step up and educate in that area. But unfortunately, most coaches through childhood are volunteers. They're not paid. So the competence level is much lower, and you feel for them like they're just trying to do the best they can.
That's right, and the best that they can is what they've seen. And it's like, I remember, like, my rugby league coach, one of our main training drills was the beep test.
Yeah, the whole beep test. Yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah, it's like you just run and you run and you run and you run and you run until you physically can't run anymore, and then you get yelled at, so you keep running a little bit more, and then you're fried.
Obsession with aerobic capacity in rugby league is just a killer. It's just an absolute killer of results, killer of bodies.
Like, and you think as well at the top level, and I don't watch a lot of footy these days, but from what I do see is every single team has a whole array of injuries. They have have 5 players out, for majority of the season. Yep. And that's a professional team that's worth millions and millions and millions, and they have all the best coaches, but they can't figure out.
Apparently.
All the best coaches. But then that's change, isn't it? They would have to change their approach and something that they believe in, that's a very hard thing to do, especially for a male.
Yeah. I mean, if I walked into the Gold Coast Titans tomorrow and told them what I thought, they're just about, like, someone would probably shoot me. Like,
get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, I'd probably get bashed.
You'd be called a conspiracy theorist.
That's right.
You believe in aliens too?
Yeah, that's right. That's how it's treated when you're different. It's the stages of truth. So at first it's criticized, and then it's accepted, and then those same people that criticized it act as if they always knew it and always did it.
Yeah, dude. I don't mean to make this about myself, but that feels like the stages that you go through as a comedian. When you first say to someone like, "Oh, I'm a comedian," and they've known you, and they're like, "You're not funny." Or are you funny? Or tell us a joke. And if you can't tell them a joke, they don't believe it. And then they have their own, like, internal conflict with it. Yep. Then they see you perform. Then they see you be funny. And then they go, I've always known you've always been funny. Yeah. It's crazy.
Everywhere.
Oh, but you're a funny dude, bro. You're a funny dude. I've always known you're a funny dude. It's like, like they knew the whole time.
It's everywhere. Honestly, it doesn't matter what it is. Human beings do the same shit over and over and over. And that's why when you first told me about being a comedian, I was like, fucking oath, that's awesome. Like, and it's a unique thing to do. Like, it's a very unique thing. I was like, wow, you don't hear many people say they want to be a comedian. Like, fucking go for it. Like, and I bet that taught you a lot of things about yourself, going and doing something so, like, scary, like standing up in front of people and telling jokes and crafting stories. Like,
it learns you learn a lot about yourself, but you learn you kind of learn other people's characteristics more than you should. Maybe you should or shouldn't know. This might be the same thing with stretching too. Is that you see their reaction to something that they don't understand, and then I don't particularly know what to do with that. Even still, like, somebody's having their own meltdown about what I'm doing.
Yeah, I can relate to that in the sense of, as a coach, you learn more about yourself because you help others.
Yeah.
Whilst you're helping someone else, you actually end up learning more about yourself. And
I
that's
get that.
that's a constant thing because you'll be like, oh, I never really like you'll see it in someone else, but then you'll reflect on it and go, oh, I've got a bit of that in me as well. I need to work on that too.
Yeah, and maybe it's because as well you're sort of telling someone that well you're trying to tell them in the most constructive way that they're doing something that is wrong that is hurting them. And I
Yeah.
think that's what happens when I someone like for example down in Melbourne here I was on the job site last week and meet a guy for the first time and it's like yeah he's like oh why'd you come down here? I'm like this and that but I'm actually here to do stand-up comedy. And one bloke's response is oh yeah cool that's awesome mate, keeps on moving. Next bloke he his entire idea of himself and his whole world comes crashing down. It's
Right.
like it's like I don't know if it's insecurity that he wanted to try something like that
Yeah.
or he doesn't know how to respond to something that is different
Yeah.
or um yeah and then there's the same process. I have the same set of questions every single time. It's like are you even funny? Tell us a joke. Oh, I'm actually really funny. And then it's just a constant. It's a constant like it's like a constant brain melt of like you
Yeah.
you're like they I don't know what it is. I don't know what I'm trying to explain here, but it's like it affects the ego in a way.
It does because you essentially end up being the mirror.
Yeah, that's
You're the
the
mirror.
perfect way of yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what you're doing with the when you point out that someone's hurting themselves,
Yeah.
you're just putting a mirror in front of them. And Jeremy Dooley, one of my mates who's a comedian, he says that it's them visiting the gravesite of their dreams or
Yeah.
something like that,
That's
or
exactly
their
what it is.
yeah, their insecurities. They have to visit it just by you saying it, and it's like I'm like I don't even like saying because I'm like I don't want you to feel, and even good friends of mine, and I'm
Yeah.
like I don't want you to feel this way, so I don't want to say anything.
Yeah. But it's not their emotions and fears aren't your responsibility either. So um I mean you can help guide them in that if they're open to it. But most people are quite closed off and unwilling to face their emotions because that's a tough thing to do. And so they're driven by fear, unfortunately. And yeah, you become the mirror. Like you're like someone like yourself that goes out, takes a risk with something new and goes after it. That you become a big mirror in that situation. They look at you and go, "Fuck, I could never do that." But then they lash out and take it out on you.
Yeah, it's kind of isolating in a way, though.
I mean, it is, but then you view it as like, fuck, I'm going after what I want to do. I'm doing what I want to do. So
Yeah.
you emotionally detach from what other people do because that's their life. You're living your life. They're living their life. Whatever.
Yeah, I think there's a people pleaser inside of me that kind
Yeah.
of wants to like I see that there's some I'm like holy shit I can see you. I almost want to like sounds so weird but I almost want to like give him a hug and be like look man it's okay like you don't have to feel any way about this
Yeah.
but it definitely does happen.
Yeah. Humans are strange, but they're also predictable. They run through cycles. They're doing the same shit over and over. Um,
Yeah, but then the moment that you can make them realize that they are doing the same thing, you're the
yeah.
problem now. It's like
Yeah.
I when you point out to someone in the nicest way that they are fucking hurting themselves. Well, Dad's a perfect example. He's like fuck Ty, he's a wanker. But
Yeah.
then when he gets over that, or
Hmm.
if somebody can get over that, they're accepting that just, he did need to stretch more. He did need to reduce the tension. He did need to do these things, and then he comes back, and then he's grown. And I don't think either of us ever thought my dad was going to achieve what he has achieved
Mm.
physically as
Yeah.
for his age and his way of thinking. But I guess yeah, and then that's the space I guess you hope you get to.
Here's another great saying I learned through Ian King. He said the kindest thing you can do for someone is give them a reality check.
Yeah, but it's the hardest thing to do as
It's the
well.
hardest thing to do. It's not an easy thing
Yeah.
to do, but it's the kindest thing you can do for someone. Even if it comes across a little bit harsh in the moment, ultimately it's the kindest thing you could have done for them in the moment. Whether or not they choose to accept it and do the best thing for themselves, that's not your responsibility. You've given them the reality check,
Yeah.
and and then the rest is up to them. And that's how I have to. That's something I had to face even early into coaching people is that You can't save everyone.
No, yeah, but we all say that we like honesty.
Yeah,
I actually make a joke about this on stage about like all girls, they always say that they want honesty, but it's like
yeah.
nobody really wants
There's a
honesty.
time and a place. There
Yeah,
really is.
yeah, it's hard. It's a hard thing. It's something another thing I used to say was like, is what I'm doing making you feel insecure?
Yeah.
Um,
Is this something you say to yourself consistently in conversation?
No, this is like when I've had a friend or somebody that I've met and all of a sudden, the fact that but it's weird though, because I think maybe fighters would get the same reaction, is that, when they meet someone and they say, "Hey, I'm a fighter," it'd be like, "Oh, you can't fight," or "Oh, I used to fight," and then you can watch the other person's ego just have like a meltdown.
Yeah.
It's like, oh shit, he's a fighter, and I used to fight. No, I used to train it, and then they
Yeah.
start telling you their past stories and
They're
the
trying to relate, but they're also bringing a bit of ego into it as well. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty common. That's pretty common, but it's everyone tries to find their own way of dealing with
Tries to
challenges.
find the comfort within the situation.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what it is.
I don't know. I mean, I think it's just being aware of you're just being aware of what's happening in the moment, whether it's reading body language or listening to the words they're using and the way they're saying them. I think that's all just part of awareness. I don't think that's not a negative thing by any means. Interpreting it can go either way. You can misinterpret cues
Yeah,
sometimes, um, but it's all part of learning. But awareness is the first step.
yeah.
Yeah,
There is definitely an isolating, as I think about it, there's even an isolating sort of feeling to the way that you train people, and that it is different. I know, because going on dates or meeting new people and training with them, and then I go stretch first.
yeah,
It's like all of a sudden I'm I'm instantly doing the different thing.
yeah. That's right.
Yeah, it's
You've got to be willing to fucking walk that lonely path. That
yeah,
that's probably one of the hardest parts of, especially initially when I'm teaching someone, is that they got to go into a commercial gym and go into the corner and do their stretches and do their abs and do their control drills and then do their general strength training as an
yeah,
example.
yeah. That's
It's like,
tough because it's crabs in a bucket too, isn't it? Is that
yep,
their friends and everybody else is going to want them to pull them into doing their way of doing something.
that's right.
Did you watch Max Holloway versus for the BMF belt? What's his name?
Oh, that was Poirier.
No, the one before Poirier.
Oh, oh,
Gaethje, Justin Gaethje.
yeah, that's it. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's
I,
a
I, I did watch that, but it was a slugfest, wasn't it?
yeah. Have you seen the highlight where he points at the floor and it's the last minute
Yeah,
and then they just slug it out and he knocks him out?
yeah,
So that would be arguably Max Holloway's best performance he's ever done in the UFC. Made him a like worldwide sensation, even more than he was.
yeah.
And he went on the Joe Rogan Experience after that, and he talked about his training camp. And it's crazy. He's like, Joe asked if he changed anything in that training camp. He
Hmm.
implemented stretching. He implemented light sparring. He never took it to that next stage. He also implemented some
Yep.
strength training stuff and more recovery days than he's ever actually done.
Fuck, isn't that interesting, huh?
How crazy is that? And it's great. I thought of you
Who would
straight
have
away.
thought? Who would have thought you could do less and get more?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's no surprise to me. I've seen it firsthand so many times. In the boxing world, I've seen it. I've seen you don't have to do much at all to get a result, and you can do things like proper speed training, like actual speed training, not endurance training. There's a misunderstanding of
Mm,
speed and endurance training. They're different things, and like real proper skill training, like really highly detailed, broken down, patient, high quality skills training. There's a whole other world out there. And he probably didn't even have to go to that level to get such a great result. He probably just reduced his overall training time. Like you said, he'd done some light sparring, so he didn't have to go crazy.
light sparring is massive now in the fight community. It's really taken wind. More and more gyms are doing it. More and more fighters are all preaching the light sparring.
Yep.
There's probably it's actually less and less people doing the hard sparring.
And all it comes back to is them they're putting themselves in a situation where they can master their technical model, because it's very tough to master a technical model when you haven't done it slow. So light sparring means you can do it with no pressure from, like, in terms of the competitiveness of the sparring, and you can settle into the fact that we're not out there to kill each other. We're just out here
Yeah.
to rehearse and just practice our skills and master our skills. And the more reps you do, that is closer to a perfect rep in terms of the training session. The more reps of the good reps you do versus the poor reps means you're going to uptake that skill faster. You're going to learn faster. So just by dropping the intensity down in sparring, you're effectively going to speed your learning process up massively. So you're going to
I'll tell you
uptake
somebody
skills.
who's taken this on and taken it to the extreme. And I haven't trained jiu-jitsu in like a month or two, but my old gym, um, he's an absolute freak with jiu-jitsu, knows everything that you can know about jiu-jitsu. And Gordon Ryan right now is taking this protocol
Yep.
of light sparring technique, improving
Yep.
technique, and they've got videos. You can actually watch this on YouTube of him sparring, and it looks like lighter than play. It looks like he's doing no effort at all.
Yep.
He's not exerting himself, and he's just rolling, and just working on little
That's
things
right.
over and over and over again. And there's no taps. He's not tapping anybody. And this guy is the best that's ever lived. There's nobody's
Yep.
ever beaten him. He's the best of the best of the best.
The intricacies of skill cannot be underestimated. And if you want to learn skills faster, okay, let's talk about athletes. They have a very limited window of reaching their potential. So if you want to optimize your ability to reach the highest possible level and reach your potential, wouldn't you want to optimize the time in which you can learn skill? So the
Mm,
uptake, the speed in which
yeah.
you can learn skill. Now, what he's doing, and it's clearly working, is he is trying to really perfect every single detail. And he's reducing his poor reps down to so little that his great reps outweigh the poor reps by a mountain. So it
Mm,
means that he learns faster than anyone else. And he creates efficiency within those movements. So efficiency, like endurance is just efficiency. It's finding, okay, how do I use the body the most efficient way to perform this task? And then I want to execute as closely to that technical model as I can without breaking down. And then I want to execute it a little bit faster. And then I want to execute a little bit faster without breaking down. And then I want to go a little bit faster. And then I
yeah.
add some pressure. And then I add a little bit more pressure, like without breaking the technical model down. That's how you learn new skill. Most times in a sport situation, you just get coaches that flog the fuck out of athletes.
Yeah.
They're just focusing on fatigue. You can't do things well when you're under fatigue.
Mm,
End of story. I'm not saying there's no time and a place for fatigue, but what I'm saying is you don't want to dominate your training with it. It's
100%.
it's
You're not learning anything. You're sort of just you're exerting yourself to recover from the exerting yourself.
it's
That's you're just training to just get by.
you're wasting time and energy.
Yeah.
Literally, you could have used that time and energy to do more skills training.
And
Or
but it's so backwards, especially with fighting, because once again, like the male ego goes into a fighting gym, and it's already like conventional gym or fighting gym. The male ego just struggles. Like I always watch guys, if a girl walks near them training, they'll automatically pick up the bigger dumbbells and start going, you know, all of a
yeah,
sudden they're just killing themselves because
yeah,
some girls walked past. But it's the same in the fight gym. Is that it's like I'm trying to beat you
yeah.
instead of hey, we're trying to learn. And now if you like I got to a point where I could kind of slow that down, but if you find another person who actually implements that sort of training model, so my old coach was a training with him, so we would do rounds with everybody, right? And
Yep.
and I would find that one person I'm rolling with, he's using all of his energy. He's trying to kill me. So I'm like, all right, I'm trying to bring that and slow it down so we can actually
Yeah.
roll and learn something. Then I'd go to the next person, he's a little bit slower. Then I'd go to my coach, who is the best, who can tap everybody out there with
Yep.
ease. We don't tap each other. He doesn't choke me out, and I don't choke him out. He could in an instant,
Yeah.
but we do this extremely slow. Looks like play, looks like nothing, but it also creates this flow state. And mate, that one role that I'm thinking of, I've learned more about jujitsu in that one role than I have done in my entire time in any gym anywhere, just in that one 5 minutes.
You know what it does? What's the one variable in sport that you have to take advantage of to get an edge?
What's that skill?
Time. You've
Ah,
given yourself time to think.
yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah,
what it is. The
yeah.
flow state is just you having the time to like
It's like
process.
time stands still in a way, and you can think of each move as it's happening.
You're
Yeah,
just processing. You've just slowed it down so you can process it and master the movements required to
that makes
execute.
me think of Floyd Mayweather when he's like dodging a punch. They're throwing as hard as they can, and he's just going like this, and it's
Yeah,
going over there, over there,
they're
over
throwing
there,
their
and
energy
he's
away,
yeah, and he never looks like he's trying.
and that's how he just executed that to perfection. And it was
Mm.
they couldn't come up with a strategy to get around it. It was very. I don't know whether someone could now, but it was unbeatable at the time. Like
Still, I would say still is. I mean, he never. I think I've seen someone do a breakdown of all his fights. I think he actually got punched like 5 times in 50 fights.
it's fucking crazy what he did. Like it really is. Um, but yeah, you're like in terms of that, you're taking advantage. You're really leveraging off time. So in sport, you want to take the time off your opponent, but in order to
Yeah.
learn the skill, you've got to give yourself time.
Mm,
So slowing it
100%.
down gives you the processing ability to go, oh, if I just move my arm this way, or if I just put my body into this position, I can execute what I'm doing. Like it's simplistic in like
It does
talking
sound
about it
super
out.
simplistic. Yeah, and even your approach does. Like it's like spend as much time working on your flexibility as you do on your strength training.
Yeah, and that's just one example. And
That seems
once you,
super basic, but it's like, but that's not what we've been sold. That's not what we've been told. That's not what we've been taught.
yeah, and what they've been sold is they can do anything they want without any consequences.
Yeah,
There's
yeah,
there's only upside to training apparently.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
well, there's a lot of downside. There's
Or
even
one
downside.
example used over and over again, like one guy who might have killed himself, and then doesn't have an injury yet.
Not yet, or they're hiding it.
Yeah, yeah. Or the hot. Even David Goggins. I don't know if you know much of his stuff. Do you?
I don't know much of his stuff, but I know what he's about. He's a
Yeah.
chronic trainer.
He is, but if when they actually get into like a deep sort of podcast where he's actually talking about his life and his structure, he stretches for 2 to 3 whole hours every single day, dedicated time and committed stretching, and he
He
does it
learned the hard
every
way.
single day. Oh yeah, he learned the hard way. He's had a
Learned
lot
the
of
hard way.
surgeries. Yeah,
Yeah, that's it. And he found that he had to do it. If he wanted to continue training the way he was training, he had to put that amount of hours in. If he didn't do those hours, he's fucked.
mm,
Simple as that. And that's the way you view it. Okay, you want to train with those sorts of volumes? Well, get ready to stretch with those sort of volumes.
definitely.
You've That's the reality. But yeah,
Or it's both extremes, right? Because he's marathon running, so he needs to marathon stretch.
yeah, yeah, he has to work his ratios out. And essentially, he would have to, in a perfect world, he'd be doing more stretching, more flexibility training than he is tension producing work, which is running.
Which is what he would be doing at the moment, because 3 hours, he wouldn't be training for 3 whole hours every day.
Yeah, you wouldn't. You'd just kill yourself doing that.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so yeah, ratios, understanding ratios in training. But you have to, again, it comes back to having a structure. If you don't have any structure to plan your training, you are just doing shit for the sake of doing it. And
Yeah.
it's chaos. And therefore your results are chaos. Your body is chaos. So the body is ultimately a reflection of the decisions you made over and over every single fucking day. You made the same decisions over and over and over. Your body's a reflection of that. Physical body, your mental, like it's everything. It's just, but break it down and make it simple on yourself. Like it's I believe structure in training provides a huge amount of clarity in terms of understanding training. But if you don't have it, you're just doing shit. And you're
Mm,
not really understanding why you're doing it. You don't understand the outcomes, the consequences. You're just doing shit. When you get yourself into trouble, guess what? It's still chaos. You don't know what the fuck happened and why it happened because
right.
you never planned anything. You never thought about it. You just did stuff. So you've got to understand
Winging
it.
it.
Yeah, you're winging it. And therefore your results are exactly reflective of that. It's
Mm.
chaos. So having clarity on why you do what you do is just so important. It takes time. It takes time to learn. Doesn't
Yeah, and
happen.
I think so. Another misconception would be so it's like you train to also as well train harder to look better. Now, I don't. Now, when you're training in the gym, the way that your physical, so body fat percentage
Mhm.
and how your muscles look is not down to the amount of volume that you do in the gym. That would be diet related. But it's
Yeah,
for some reason it's do more sets in the gym, you're going to look better.
yeah. Well, there's probably that association with higher volumes to hypertrophy or muscle gain.
Yeah,
Like when we're talking body fat levels, we're talking diet.
it's all
Um,
diet. Yeah,
I,
you
I
can't out train a bad diet. We've all
no,
tried.
using movement as your means of losing body fat is a terrible idea.
I know, but that's the common though. It's run for a long time, train for a lot, and you'll be in
Yeah,
shape. But you can if you don't change your diet, it's never going to change.
you're using a very inefficient and damaging method to try and drop your body fat. You
And,
just got
and oh, and you're also gonna have more injuries because of
yeah,
the overtraining. And then it's crazy because then you'll see a person who's been in the gym, and that's a hard, long death. Is being in the gym for a long time, your body not changing, you're working your ass off, and now
yeah,
you have injuries.
yep. And now it's even harder to train.
Jesus.
So it's a vicious
Not
cycle.
only are you fat, you still
Yeah, yeah. You're fat and now you're broken. Like fuck.
fat, broken,
Yeah,
broken
it's
hearted.
this is the cycle people go through.
Oh
They go
yeah, that's
through
tough.
train,
But then,
injury,
but then,
recover.
but then, if we're being in that person's shoes, if you see a quick fix, you're going to jump on it as fast as possible.
But we've been conditioned that way. That's a social conditioning thing that's we've been exposed to from a young age, and that we've it's just engraved, heavily ingrained into our psyche of
Yeah, that's
find
why
the
I'm not a
quickest method.
millionaire on crypto.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, it's once you get past that and you understand that these things you need to give yourself time to learn. Like if you want to learn something new, it just takes time. Like uh, a tradie did 4 years as an apprentice.
That's
Apprentice.
right.
Like,
Yeah. But
you,
also as well, speaking about tradies and training, is that you think about the amount of load on your body being a tradie and then going to the gym.
yeah,
Because you got 8 hours of like, for example,
that's right.
lifting blocks, lifting wood, and then you're going to go do bench press,
Yep.
which you've already been bench pressing all day. You're already under tension. You're just creating another injury, and you're going to be in pain all day, and then you're going to drink to mitigate that pain. And yeah,
Yeah, I've worked with plenty of chippies and different tradies, and the demands of the job are so great.
massive, man.
You're out in the elements, you're in the hot sun.
Doing
Um,
20,000 steps a day, plus also physically exerting yourself every other minute.
yeah, the reality is you won't be able to recover from a hell of a lot. Um, yeah, yeah,
But then if you go to the gym, you don't train hard, you're a pussy.
yeah, that's the game people play.
I know.
That's
It's
seeking validation from others.
yeah, you're impressing your mates who, or you're impressing people who you don't actually even know anyway.
Yeah, and like other people don't give a fuck really. Like
No,
everyone's too worried about themselves anyway. So
no.
why should you give a shit? Just do the best thing for you, and eventually when you start getting superior results, they'll copy you. Literally.
Yeah,
They'll
yeah.
literally start copying. I've watched this happen when I've done certain things in gyms. People will start like if I'm stretching and they see me go and stretch for 90 minutes to 2 hours before I even pick up a weight. And they'll see me do that over and over and over and over. And they'll see my strength levels go up and up and up. And they'll be, what the fuck is this guy doing? People will start stretching. I've watched it
Mm.
happen over and over. You can go into this is a cool thing to try. Next time you're in an airport, when you're in the waiting area,
Ah, yes, yes. Mom and dad did this. Yep.
start stretching. You watch how
Yeah,
many people copy you.
yeah.
It's just a beautiful reflection of where society's at. They will just copy others blindly. But I mean,
Mm.
it's good because they're stretching, but that's how people operate.
I actually saw one of my mates the other day on Instagram on his story. He was actually stretching before he started plastering, and I thought, how I've never seen that on a job site.
Yeah.
But my brain's like, fucking great idea. I
Yep.
If I was on the job site, I'd be doing the exact same thing. And my parents, when they were doing a 3 week hike throughout some desert in the middle of Australia,
Yeah.
they were doing it with a bunch of other younger people, and they were getting up and stretching every morning. Then all of a sudden, the whole entire group was stretching every morning with them by the end of it.
That's right.
Mm.
I've done it multiple times in different airports, and every single time someone will start stretching. Literally, the last time I was in an airport, I think I was in Singapore or something at a stopover, and I was stretching my quads using the chair, and I was on the ground doing my
So
hammy.
important as well when you're on a plane for so many hours.
Oh, you have to, honestly. And then this guy, like literally two chairs down from me, put his foot up on the chair and started stretching his quads. Like,
Yeah.
it happens every time. So I I like that they're stretching, like that they're doing it, but if you take that mindset into every part or aspect of training, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
You can't blindly copy others. You have to know what you're doing. So
Mm.
yeah, it's a bit of education, takes a bit of time, but it's worth it.
Yeah, get better at stretching. So what about people with a desk job? So you've got conventional gym goers. The basic message without it is learn how to stretch better. Take value stretching as much as you do strength training, and just start to implement it. It's going to be a long journey, but you're not going to have injuries. You're going to perform better. Removing the idea that pushing yourself to a limit is the best way to maximize results.
Yeah.
I'm doing a physical preparation coach Ty Anderson's. I'm doing his mission statement.
Yeah, pretty much.
Eh,
Um, I'll put one other one in there. Ask questions.
Yeah, try and learn.
Like the amount of times I've said, and I've probably said it to you at some stage, maybe in our early
It's
sessions.
just trying to be a little bit better.
Yeah, and I will say to everyone, the first time have a conversation with them, the first session, I'll say, ask me questions. I don't care when you send the text message, just send the message. I'll get back to you. I will
Yeah,
answer your question, but make sure you ask the fucking question.
yeah,
And a lot of the time, people don't. They won't send a single thing. And I say, well, you're not going to learn. You cannot possibly learn this all on your own to start with. You
yeah,
have to. I'm glad you're doing it, but you should have questions, and you've got to ask me. So that's one area that I don't believe people leverage off enough. If I'm to reflect on my own career, is that you need to, if you have someone there like literally telling you that's willing to answer your questions, just text me anytime and I'll get back to you when I can. And you don't take advantage of that, you are limiting your learning speed massively, but also your potential. So you can get the results faster if you just commit to learning faster.
yeah,
So ask a shitload of fucking questions, and there's no dumb questions because
yeah.
everyone else has got the question. I guarantee you. So ask, talk.
What's the quote? The quote says, "A man who asks a question feels stupid for a moment. The man who doesn't ask a question is stupid forever." Something
That's
like that.
exactly
I've
right.
just butchered it.
Yeah, but
But
that's
yeah,
exactly right.
yeah. It's like wanting to. It's like yeah, wanting to improve. But yeah, that's a hard one because you got to get out of your own way to want to improve as well.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's
Mm.
not easy. It's nothing in life worth doing is just comfortable. Like it's always going to be
I
uncomfortable.
know. Comfort's a killer though.
Yeah, it's like you're going to have to ask that quote unquote silly question. So, and I don't give a fuck what question it is. Like I guarantee I probably heard it before.
Yeah.
I'll be like, yeah, that's easy. X, Y, and Z. And then you go off, you do some stuff, you come up with more questions. It's a very easy process.
What with the snoring and stretching? How was that linked? Because I know when Levi posted his testimonial, he was having troubles with snoring when he come to see you.
Yeah, it's a common one. And look, this is, I guess you could call it my theory. There'll be people out there that think the same. The shape of the upper back and the neck influences the airways.
Oh.
So the you have to view the body as a whole, because you can have tightness in your lower body that's exacerbating or creating tightness in your upper body. Um, but if you're a desk worker, for example, and you're sitting, so your hip flexors are kept in a short position,
And your tops, your
kyphotic, you're
yeah.
rounded, and then your head's sitting forward, and then even when you stand up, your pelvis is anteriorly rotated, then you lean back to try and find your center of gravity, and then your head goes forward again.
Mm.
This is affecting your airways, especially if you lay on your back, if you sleep on your back.
Wow.
So yeah, the shape of your spine, there's a definite correlation, especially through the upper back and the neck. There's a correlation between your airways. So that can be a very simple way of addressing that. You have to do the work. You have to do the neck stretching, the chest stretching, the lat stretching. You have to do all that flexibility training and the control drills and all the rest of it to reverse that spinal shape. But once you do, all of a sudden your airways open up. Because when you lay
So
on your back,
Levi said he's not snoring. Like he doesn't.
I actually haven't even talked to him about it, but that's good. That's good to hear, because
Yeah.
it's usually a simple fix.
Yeah,
Like
that's crazy. That's because that would prevent like you've seen those big sleep apnea machines, right? They
exactly, yeah.
look like fucking Tom Cruise Maverick as they go to bed.
If
But
you
I
look
know
at
heaps of people with
everyone,
them.
you look at everyone that's
When
got
I
one of
think about
those.
when I think about their training patterns, it makes sense.
Look at the shape of their body. Every single one of them, I guarantee they've got kyphosis and a forward head position.
Yeah, and desk jobs create that, but also bro split training creates
Yeah.
that, doesn't it?
Tight chest and lats. Yeah, definitely.
Ah.
And tight lower body as well, tight hip flexors, because you got to view the body as a whole,
Yeah,
not
not just
in
the
halves.
chest. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, you got to fix everything all at once, so it's all affecting everything else. So, but the shape of the body tells you gives you so much information about the person,
Mm.
both in the decisions they make in their training or their occupation or the way that they think about themselves. There's posture and shape that gives you a lot of info. It's one of the more underestimated parts. Um, but yeah, there's opportunities there. The like easy, like low hanging fruit opportunities.
Yeah, massive. Yeah, I know a couple of things that you gave me when I was more prominently behind a desk was just literally having something because I would go from sitting to standing behind the tattoo bed,
Yeah.
and I would stand on like was it cushiony sort of floors for my feet,
Yep.
rolling my shoulders back slightly,
Yep.
and trying to focus on having a better posture, and then just rolling out the tension in my chest and shoulders, say in the middle of the day. Just
Yep.
doing those couple of little things completely changed.
It
Like
does.
I didn't have sore shoulders, didn't have a sore back at the end of the day.
Yeah. And even if I always like to call it, you're trying to win the battle of time. If you spend 40 hours working, how can we shift the amount of hours in that shape to something that you do want? So even
Mm.
if we shifted it for 10 hours of your total work week to a superior shape, that's 10 hours that you weren't doing before. You've actually started to shift yourself in the right direction. Now, if you then take that momentum that you got from shifting that 10 hours and you then do other stretching in like dedicated sessions, rolling, control drills, abdominal training, if you started to just do little bits and pieces, you're then winning that battle. You're winning the battle of time. So 40 hours of tightening.
And and any desk worker is 40 hours behind a desk.
Yeah, that's what I would call 40 hours of tension producing time,
Yeah.
tightening time.
And you can create a whole number of problems from those 40 hours over time, over 10 years.
Oh yeah, I mean, how many people you talk to? They get up from their desk and they blow their lower back out and they can't walk for 5 days.
Yeah,
Like
heaps all the time.
it's so common. It's not an acute injury. It's a chronic one. It's chronic imbalance, they've just got away from them. They've let it go for so long that it's built and built and built, and then bang, one day you drop your pen on the ground and it's game over. So it's very preventable stuff. It could be the shoulders as well. You rounded at your desk all day, and one day you got to lift something above your head and put it in the cupboard or something like that, and your shoulder tears or something like that. Like these are real situations that people go through. But it wasn't that you were lifting the thing over overhead,
Yeah, you weren't, and it's like you're not doing anything crazy. You're not in a
done it a million times
jiu-jitsu
before.
fight. You're not,
Yeah,
yeah. You might be just putting, some files on a freaking. I've heard of one like trying to get out of a beach chair and just like
yeah,
snap the shoulder.
that's right. You things got that bad that you were just that fragile at that moment. You just went crack, gone. Like it doesn't, and the scary part is it doesn't really take a hell of a lot to get to that level either, especially if you're playing sport or you're
Because you
training.
build the tension so quickly, right?
Exactly, you build it and
Mm,
you take that imbalance or you accelerate that existing imbalance from your occupation and you take that imbalance into your training and then you exacerbate it, you accelerate it,
mm.
and you break down faster. It's like I was saying before, it's one thing to have an imbalance and just go to the gym and lift a few weights and then sit down. But it's another thing to take that imbalance into a high intensity sport. Then you're going to get really fucked up real quick. So you break down faster. Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
And that's dream shattering too, because I have some mates who are trying to be in the UFC who are really good
yeah,
fighters, and they're training insane. But it's funny. I actually spoke to you about one of their training schedules, and you said that he's going to hurt something soon, and within I think it was like a month, he literally blew his knee out. Couldn't train for I don't know months of rehab.
yeah, it's fucked up. I actually had a experience, and I probably wasn't, I definitely wasn't ready in terms of my competence for this working with this athlete because it was a bit earlier on when I didn't have as many skills. But it was a professional boxer, and he had already reached a really high level in terms of world ratings, and so he was already really set in his ways. So
Yeah,
really fucking set in his ways. Nice guy. Um, and me and my lack of years and experience in that situation, I was just like, you've got to do this and you've got to do
yeah.
that.
You fought him head on.
Yeah, and but then I did that at first, but then I really pulled back and I probably let him get away with too much. I just
Uh,
accepted he's not going
you
to listen.
removed your authority completely.
Yeah, so I just went, oh, fuck, he's not going to listen to me. Which I actually would have done that straight away if he had given me any resistance at first. I would have been like, okay, it's your body. Whereas before I tried to force it
Mm,
early, which pushed him further away. Right. So
mm.
I would have been a little bit more skilled in the way I approached that situation to get him to come round. Um, and I would have been very patient. I would have been very patient. I definitely have more tools in the toolkit now to be able to deal with that. But what happened was when he finished up with the coach, because he had the boxing coach and then me as the physical preparation coach. When he finished up his relationship or his like a sporting relationship with this coach, he texted me and said, "Oh, I'm going to the gym." And he thanked me basically, and I said, "Hey, listen, that shoulder that's starting to niggle now. If you don't do the things that I've been telling you, you are going to have a serious injury." And I think there was like maybe one more response from him. It was like, "Yeah, thanks, no worries." Yeah, and I knew that he wasn't going to do anything, but I needed to
Yeah, you
more.
needed to say it because you could see it. It's like you can see a car accident happening. You're
It's
like, fuck,
happening.
I got to say something.
And I kid you not, it was like 2 months later. I see some reels and stuff posted on Instagram of him rehabbing a shoulder injury. I'm like,
Fuck.
fuck's sake! Like it's just blatant. Like it's so obvious. And the all you had to do was just give me the time of day, and I would have spent the time. But it was a great lesson. It was a great lesson in coaching, and I'm glad I had that because now I can reflect on that my approach to that sort of person would be very different. If they
Yeah.
did, like if I was in that situation now, I'd be much lighter in my approach, but very um, skilled in terms of. I definitely have more skills, but I would just sort of just drip
Yeah.
feed. But whatever you do drip feed has to be highly effective.
Because then when it works, then they decide to take it on board.
Yeah, and the more you expose them to those, okay, oh, Ty told me to do this and it really worked. and then they come back to you, and then I give them another little bit of drip feed. Oh, and that really works.
Mm,
And that really works. So then their association with you is, wow, this guy might actually have an idea.
yeah.
Whereas before it was like me trying to convince, right? So you try to convince anyone of anything, it's not going to work anyway. So you just you got to be more careful. Well, I certainly had to learn that, um, but it was a good lesson in like you can see this shit coming. You can
Yeah.
see, you get all the signs, you get all the warning signs, the niggles and the nerve pain, and you know it happens in front of your eyes. Um, but they're great experiences, and that's really unfortunate about your friend that it was an
He's all right
ACL.
now, but I'm just worried. And because he's my friend as well. That's the other thing is that when you have friends, you worry about them, and when you
Yeah,
it's hard because I before knowing your style of training, I wouldn't be able to see injuries before they happen, but
yeah,
now I can see them through obviously asking questions, learning about your processes. I can see, all right, if he keeps training like this is it's not going to end well.
yeah, yeah. Um,
I'm kind of lucky in a way as well because I think I would have been that maybe arrogant person towards your type of training in the beginning, but like I had a experience with overtraining where I got rhabdomyolysis. I don't know if you've ever heard of that. I think we've
yeah, I
spoken
think
about it.
you've told me about this. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, David Goggins actually got it. He talks about it in his book, and it's just your body breaking down. Your body
yeah,
saying, "No, you can't train anymore."
yeah.
It puts you in hospital. You got to get all your muscles stop recovering and it pushes blood throughout your whole system into your liver. It can kill you as well. And I did that from overtraining, but also over partying, overworking, over stressing. So I was already sort of on board for a different. I was looking for a new. I'm like, I can't keep on doing what I'm doing. So then I started to look for. I was more open to other avenues.
Yeah.
I saw what my arrogance did to me. um,
Yep.
but it's like the old smoking, quit smoking when you get lung cancer situation.
Yeah, exactly. You can
Fuck.
see these things happening. Like, unless someone's pointing them out to you, like the changes that are happening in your body, you probably won't see it coming. So that's where the education comes in. Like being educated on how the body, what an optimal shape of the body is, gives you so much power. Because when you look in the mirror every day, you go, "Oh, geez, that shoulder's sitting a little bit higher than the other one.
Yeah.
Well, that lower back is a bit arched. Jesus,
Yeah, but
fuck
the
that.
common look is definition. We're all looking for
Just with aesthetics. Yeah,
Arnie. We're all looking to yeah.
yeah. And they sacrifice their health, their joint health, in order to chase something that's not the most efficient way to achieve that anyway.
Yeah.
So there is a better way. There's a more efficient way. You can get there faster with doing less, which is great, I think. Um, and there's a way that you can do it that actually increases the health of the body, which is what training should be used for.
Should be getting better,
You
better,
should be getting
better,
better.
better. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It should be adding value to your life,
100%.
not taking from your health and your wallet, because it's going to cost you a lot of money as well. That's the other side of it. So yeah,
I
these
remember one of the tricks you said to me was it's like go in the gym and do stretch, then do half of the workout that you would normally do and just leave.
yeah,
And like and that just I had to rep that out. I had to go into the gym and just all right, I feel like I got more in the tank, but I'm going to stop. And it goes against everything that you
yeah,
think. Every fiber of me wants to do the opposite. I'm like, I want to pump. I want to fucking train hard.
yeah.
And then you just go home, you rest, and then you're excited, being excited to train,
That's right. Because
not
now
just pushing
you
yourself to
associate
train.
it. Your association with training slowly changes. Not only that, but you will get better from session to session doing training that way. You really, like I said before, you're only going all out some of the time.
Yeah.
Some of the time. Most of the time, you're leaving that gym or you're leaving that field or whatever sport it is, feeling like you've got gas in the tank. That's
Mm.
how it should feel. And that's how you keep improving. You'll burn yourself. And this is what people do. They go on the cycle. They burn themselves out in 3 or 4 weeks. They get a niggle or injury. They recover from the injury. They go again. They do the same thing they did before. They get the same shitty results. They go again. Like you are literally never getting any better doing that. You are restarting every 1 to 2 months.
Yeah, jumping on that merry-go-round of injuries, and then also when you're burning yourself out, you're eating more.
You're eating more. Your emotions change because you're unhappy with your body because you can't train. Like there's a number of things that go on as a result of constant poor decisions
Yeah.
and unwillingness to learn from your experiences and reflect on it, honestly reflect on it, and be open to a different perspective. It's not easy, but it's far more rewarding. Um, yeah, just one of the challenges of being different.
Yeah, being different. Another one was sleeping. I think we got to a point in me training with you that I was still getting some maybe shoulder and back. And I didn't realize like I slept face down, like like when someone gets knocked out and they just like face down on the canvas. That was
Yeah,
how I
yeah.
was sleeping every night. But my body was so accustomed to sleeping like that.
Yep.
And I actually found a study on, I think it was like TED Talk, it was a TED Talk or something like that. And it's actually more important for you to have good posture while you're sleeping than it is the actual amount of sleep that you get.
Interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, so I would they say to even if you stay awake, you should still stay in that position. So I've been fighting for the past probably 3 months to stay in the same position. I have it down pat now, but I've no injuries, no sore back, no sore shoulders when I wake up in the morning, and I also wake up feeling more energized. Whereas before,
Yeah,
I'd get like 9 hours or
yeah,
something, and I'd still feel fucked. But
yep.
I'm sleeping face down. Yeah,
Yeah, face down's literally the only no-no.
yeah, I
It's
know.
it's I used to do the same thing. I used to sleep on my front like a long time ago, and it fucks your lower back terribly. And it ruins. Usually, you sleep with one leg out to the side, and it ruins your hip as well.
Yeah.
Um, so it ruins the body sleeping face down. And if you sleep on your back, you've got to have something underneath your knees to elevate the knees and posteriorly rotate the pelvis to take the pressure off the lumbar. And then if you're sleeping on your side, you've got to make sure that having a pillow in between your knees, making sure your pillow's at a nice height so that your spine is in a nice straight line. Um, and then alternating from side to side. Because if you sleep on
Yeah.
one side more than the other, then you're fucking one shoulder out.
Yeah. And there's
So
also health benefits for one side to the other. One helps with I think like breathing, and then the other side helps with heart and blood flow.
there you go. So it's again, it comes back to just a balanced approach. But yeah, the only thing you don't want to do with sleep is sleep on your front. That is
Yeah, I
really
know
bad.
it's not good.
It's yeah, I know from personal experience on that one. It takes a while to train yourself out of it, like away from it. But once you do, you're like, holy shit, I wake up so much better now. Like, especially for lower back health. You've got to keep that pelvis in a neutral position as much as you can. Just in everyday life too. Postural awareness. Just make sure you're in a nice postural shape. Um, that means you've got to have a postural model, which not everyone has. But once you have it, you need to stick as close to it as you possibly can.
Mm,
Stick as close as you can through as many activities as you can, because that's ultimately the way you'll be shaped.
mm,
Awareness is critical in posture.
yeah. Oh yeah, bro. Let's wrap this up. What's a message that you've got for the average athlete, gym goer, training person
That's a tough
who's
one.
because if they actually listen this far, then they're probably open to learning something from yourself.
Um, if they're open enough to learn something new, be mindful of. Okay, so this is something I was going to bring up before. Humans have a tendency to overreact and then underreact, and then overreact and then underreact, and they typically never find the middle ground, which is balance, right? So we flip flop from one side of the continuum to the other. Now, if you're going to try something new, you don't have to overreact and do a whole bunch of it straight away, because
Mm,
that would then be playing the same game you've been playing, right? So you'll notice that I don't ever say anything. I try not to. I try not to say anything good or bad. It's just different or it's interesting, and it's a different perspective. I believe some things will lead to injuries, yes, but I just view them as different or interesting. So when you try something new, just expose yourself to a little bit of it, see how you respond, and do a little bit more, then do a little bit more. Give yourself enough time to come to accurate conclusions.
Mm.
Because whenever someone finds something new that is powerful, and you've experienced this yourself, it is powerful when you do it. When you do it well, you don't have to overreact and do a whole fucking shitload and change it all at once. Just start changing little bits and pieces and just be consistent,
Mm.
because that is a more balanced way to transition into a new way of training. So I'm that way of thinking probably comes with the more time that I've been coaching. I'll just
It's
slowly,
a good theory, man. Not theory. It's a good way of thinking. I like it.
because we tend to keep going from flip flopping from one overreaction to underreaction. Like when I say underreaction, I mean throwing it out altogether. You'll
Yeah.
do something, you'll do heaps of something so much that it's counterproductive, and then you go, fuck that, that's shit, and do none of it.
Yeah.
So you're throwing out the good stuff.
Yeah.
So
It's like living to
balance.
extremes. It's like, this is the answer. I've got the answer. It's not the answer. Fuck it off. I need something else.
That's how people
Yeah.
literally view anything new. So don't be that person.
Yeah. Don't be so tied to the thing.
Just expose yourself just gradually, consistently over time, and be patient with yourself. Give yourself time to come to those conclusions. Not everything, like the old saying, Rome wasn't built in a day. You don't have to solve everything today.
Yeah.
You have time.
It's like I come to Ty. Ty says I need to stretch. All right, I'm going to stretch every single day. I didn't get any results. This is shit. Fuck Ty.
That's a classic example, because um, everyone says that. They say, okay, I'm going to do this every day. I'll say, no, I didn't say that. I
Yeah,
didn't say
don't do it every day.
because you still got to recover
Or
from
they'll
it.
come to you and it'll be the first consultation. It's like, all right, I want to learn how to do the splits in 2 weeks.
Yeah. Like, let's have realistic expectations. Just manage your expectations and understand that when you do something new, you're going to be more fatigued than someone that's
Yeah.
more experienced. So you don't need a lot of it at the start. You just need to learn the skills and find structure. Have structure in your training, and everything will become far more clear, because you can just, hey, remember what we did with the whiteboard? We'd write everything down in your week,
Mm.
and it just makes everything so clear. You see how much time you're spending in each area, and you go, holy shit, I didn't realize I was spent doing that much of that. Break it down. You just have a visual in front of you. That sort of clarity really can solve a lot of challenges in your body and in your overall training results. So it's a long-winded way of the answer, but
It's a good
uh,
answer. I like that, man. And and that was a big probably change even for me stretching is that I still stretch today, and I'm better than I was at stretching. I just do it every week, and that's it. Not trying to do the splits. I'm not trying to, I'm not trying to kill myself in the gym. But that's the other thing too, I think, is it's always 8 weeks. So 8 weeks seems to be the thing to get. Like, this might sound a little bit arrogant, but man, I've been in shape, like lean, in shape, fit, healthy. I can't remember the last time I wasn't, but I go to the gym every week. I stretch every
yeah,
week.
just keep
And
turning up.
yeah, I just keep turning up. And I don't do any extremes. I'm not trying to do F45's new challenge. I'm not
Yeah,
trying to, you know, I'm not getting fit for some holiday.
yeah,
I'm just doing it.
yep. And that's literally just turning up, and even more than turning up, it's turning up and then reflecting on it. How did
Yeah,
that go? What results did I get? What did I feel? What did I feel is a big question.
huge, man. Even today, I had set for 5 days 4 days in the gym this week, but I did 4 days of brick and block laying, and I haven't laid bricks or blocks in 8 years.
Yep,
So
it's a new
my body, I
activity.
walked into the gym, I stretched for 20 minutes, I picked up one weight, and I went, no,
Yep, cooked.
cooked. I'm
Absolutely
out of
cooked.
here. Like my back, my shoulders, like because each block is like 20 kilos, and I'm doing that for 8 hours straight. And then I'm
Hard.
thinking I'm going to go lift some weights. Ridiculous.
That's hard work. It really is, and that's a reality for a lot of people. Is that you have to be able to make those decisions, however much it goes against your own ego to resist.
Yeah, you got to understand though as well. Like you like the big shredded bodybuilder, he's sleeping 3 4 hours a day, then going to the gym, and that's what he does for a living. Like
Yeah,
you can't do that and be a bricklayer. Like
that's right.
unless your genetics permit it,
Yeah,
you really can't. And it's the same with being a professional fighter. Like if you want to train every single day, then you got to rest the same amount of time as you train.
Yeah, that's right. There's different situations, different environments. You've got to individualize your approach to your current needs. That's why you've really got to you've really got to think about your needs, because everyone thinks about the wants. I want to do this. I want to do that.
Yeah.
But you've got to acknowledge the needs. It's okay to have wants, but you've got to acknowledge the needs. Otherwise, they will manifest into something, and they'll force you eventually to stop.
Yeah.
Stop.
Yeah. Your need to look like that person. Yeah. That insatiable want, you're gonna fuck yourself up.
Yeah, and again, that's bringing it's bringing too much emotion into your training decisions. It should be a very rationalized, logical process. The emotions only come in when you need to use maybe some aggression or something to overcome high, like maximal strength loading, or you're in sport, you might be fighting, whatever. There might be times and places for emotions, but it's not that often. Especially not in training decisions. Training decisions should be very logical and rationalized thinking. It's all about understanding the upside and the downside, and then balancing it out.
Yeah, and also thinking about improvement. Like, well, yeah, when you say taking the emotion out, it's like, okay, like how many got I know so many people who are, gym or MMA or whatever, whatever. It's like, all right, if we want to be better at that, then it's just I want to find the best way to be better. That's it. Not removing any of my ideas that I have and
Yeah,
just finding out what the best way is.
that's it. Be open to change, and change over a long amount of time doesn't have to be quick. You just have to keep searching for better and better solutions.
Yeah.
Be a solution orientated person, and just keep chipping away. That's what I say whenever someone asks how I'm going. I am just keep chipping. I'm chipping away. I'm getting
Yeah,
it
yeah.
done.
They're
That's
chipping
all you
away.
can do.
Yeah.
Become
That's
more.
all it's all there really is. Yeah, mm.
Yep. That's it.
It with so many things in life too. Your message as well. I even think about that with comedy too. It's like when you or when I've started any other business or like when I remember doing my personal training certificate, everyone there was gonna own their own gym, be
Yeah.
millionaires, and when I was an SMP artist, I remember there was 7 people in the class and nearly 100 students come through there in the time that I was there. Every single student nearly told me that they're going to have their own studio. They're going to be the biggest in Queensland, going to be the this or that, that, that.
Yep.
I was the only person outside of after me. There was nobody else stuck at it, and I did it for 4 years. But it's like you say, it's flip flopping. You go all the way in, and then you're
Yeah.
all the way out.
Yep.
Yeah,
You constantly like you should constantly strive to find balance in a situation, and be aware in the moment when you think, oh, hang on, I'm just overcooking it. I'm going too far into this. I'm not balancing out the rest of my life and the other things I've got to do. Like you're not using your time to the best of your ability. So yeah, the overreaction underreaction thing happens in
so many
everyone's
areas.
lives,
Yeah,
all industries, everywhere, constantly, all the time. Flip flop, fucking back and forth.
yeah.
Change. Like if you look at the world's patterns over like historically, that's all we fucking do is go back and forth, back and forth. It just never changes. Humans do the same shit over and over. That's we have very pretty much the same patterns over and over and over again. It's just
Mm,
being aware of it though in the moment,
mm.
catching yourself when you feel like you're doing it, which is not an easy thing to be aware all the time. But sometimes you got to sit down and go, "Fuck, am I just going a little bit too hard here? I need to settle down a little bit and find some balance in this situation." So not an easy thing, but again, it's honesty is not always easy.
No,
But
it's
yeah,
not.
necessary.
It's good, man. I like it. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about, bro, before we left off?
Geez, we've covered some ground.
Yeah, I actually took notes.
Did you?
Yeah, we got snoring, sleep, rugby, conventional gyms, desk jobs, Max Holloway story. Yeah, my notes don't entirely make sense.
I mean, if I mean, like I said before, I'm always open to questions. My coaching page is preventionproject.coach on Instagram, I think it is.
Yeah,
If you like fuck, if you reach out to me and ask a question, I'm always happy to answer it. Follow along, follow the rugby league comeback.
Yeah, how's that going?
It's going well. It's going well. Again, it's been a couple of months. I've learned heaps already, so I've got a long way to go. But follow that along. I'm always putting up posts about where I'm at, and I'm going to. I'm in the process of doing it like a series,
Yep.
like following the whole entire process. So I'm in the process of putting together a couple of episodes at the moment, and I'll be putting them up on YouTube, and I'll be going into more and more detail on that entire process. So if you're someone that's interested in training in general, like you don't have to be into rugby league, even though I'll be talking about it. If you're interested in the training effect, like the process involved with like being an athlete and you know overcoming obstacles in terms of old injuries and surgeries and all that sort of stuff, the series that I create will you'll probably find it interesting because I find that no one really goes into any depth about their
The actual training, what they're doing. They see the end result. Yeah.
exactly. They don't see
Yeah.
everything.
Well, something else I'd say as well for your page is that would be I don't know how often you do it, but is a question box. And I think
Yeah,
questions to ask Ty would be how to get more, how to perform better in whatever you're doing, how to have an injury-free training approach, how to, if you have injuries and you have, how many people in the, you talk to sore shoulders, sore back, sore,
yeah,
any of those things, send Ty a message. It's, there's you probably already have countless testimonials, but I can hand on my heart or honest as I sit here, you've helped so many people where I think I think Levi was meant to have shoulder surgery or something when he came to see you. But
yeah. You already had a shoulder injury, yeah.
yeah, but everyone I send to you with an injury, if they stick with you, it gets fixed. And everybody is enjoying their training a lot more because of doing your approach. So yeah, it definitely works.
No, I appreciate that. It's good to hear that some of my ramblings stick.
Yeah, yeah, it
I
does.
know it gets. I feel like I definitely feel like I'm on repeat a lot of the time, but I mean that's what it takes
But
to
that's your message, and
yeah, that's right.
it might get old to you, but it's yeah, it's definitely helped me, man.
That's good. I'm glad to hear that. That it is sticking. Like especially since like I don't see you very often, but you're still doing that stuff to this day, which makes me happy that I'm actually contributing to that. Because you feel like you don't see someone again, you're like, fuck, I hope they actually stick at it.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I hope he's not. I hope he doesn't have a shoulder operation
Yeah,
coming up.
yeah. So it's good to hear. It is nice to hear. So yeah, that's about it
Awesome.
really. Ask questions. I'm open to questions. If you follow the page, follow the rugby league comeback. Hopefully that all goes well and we can get back to the field and see how we go. See how these old legs go.
It'll be exciting, man. I'll have to come up and watch you play when
Yeah,
that does happen.
for sure.
Sweet, bro. Thank you.
Well, thanks for having me on.